This is Lucas from eBike of Colorado presenting to you today the Igo Discovery Rosemont LE1. This bike is a cruiser comfort style bike meant to tackle your local bike trails, the grocery store trips, and any sort of urban style riding. This bike is equipped head to toe with some awesome features such as fenders in the front tire and fenders in the rear, just to kind of prevent splash up, mud, gravel, etc. from getting all up on you. This bike is also equipped with that rear rack. Super awesome to have that there as an option, as it gives you the capability to hold trunk bags, milk crates, or whatever have you. So your grocery store trips, your cargo, if you want to go on a picnic and bring your bike, you have that option. Not only you have fenders, a rear rack, but you also have integrated lights in the front and in the rear. What I like about that is they integrate that rear light very cleanly into the rear of the rack, which gives the bike a nice kind of futuristic look. Other than that, you have a super bright 200 lumen light up front with a reflector, so you'll be seen by cars, other pedestrians from far away. And then, let's get over to the componentry. This bike is equipped with an 8-speed shifting mechanism. You have the Shimano Acera derailleur. It's going to give you those clean, crisp shifts. The gear range is really awesome. It's meant to tackle hills, meant to tackle your urban areas. Just a really nice range for the bike and the motor that is on it. They work seamlessly together. And the bike has that 500 watt-hour motor in the rear, sporting 55 newton meters of torque. The motor peaks out at 750 watts, so you're going to get tons of power when needed. And what's really awesome about this bike too is if you don't want that much power, you're trying to get a workout in, you can still do that and get that awesome workout in. You see that hill, but you're a little bit tired, you can kick the bike's assistance out and get a ton of help. Moving on, this bike also has hydraulic disc brakes. This is pretty much what you're going to want nowadays. It's going to give you the most stopping power. With that being said, you have the Tektro hydraulic brakes. You're going to be able to stop on a dime. Other than that, up in the front here, you have a Contour NEX suspension fork. This suspension fork is awesome. It's going to make the ride super comfortable, whether you're going off a curb, going through a gravel trail, or if you're just going through a generally kind of just rockier area. That suspension fork is going to eat up all those bumps and make the ride significantly more comfortable. But otherwise, let's head on over to the cockpit of the bike. So most notably, you'll kind of notice that the handlebar has this 3-inch swoop, which will give you more of a relaxed and just overall kind of supported feel as you ride. And to kind of pair with that swept back handlebar, Igo gives you this adjustable stem. And how that operates is you press this little button forward and pull from the bottom. That will release the mechanism, in which then you can adjust it in 2 ways. The handlebars you can pivot to and fro, and then also the stem you can move away from you and down, or towards you and up. This function is awesome for a couple of reasons. One is you can put it at that upright position. Let's say you have some low back pain, or just generally like that more kind of upright cruiser comfort feel. You can tilt it back and achieve that. Otherwise, you can, let's say it's a windy day and you don't want to get blown over everywhere. You can then adjust the handlebars more downright. So you're a little bit more aerodynamic and not getting blown around quite as much. Otherwise, on the cockpit, you of course have your shifting mechanism on the right-hand side, and then over on the left-hand side, that is going to be all your electrical components. Igo has really stepped it up with this bike and improved the electronics significantly. One most notable improvement is going to be the battery. They went from a 540 watt-hour battery to a 720 watt-hour battery, which is going to give you up to a 70-mile range on any given ride. But yeah, moving back to the cockpit, they have this display which is quite unique. It has, pretty much the basics like your speedometer, your battery percentage, and then of course your assistance, your pedal assistance. And kind of like in the name, pedal assistance, they on this bike they give you a number that correlates with how much help you're getting from the motor as you pedal the bike. What's unique about this bike is they allow you to configure it a couple different ways. You can either have assistant levels 1 through 9 or assistance levels 1 through 5. Why that's kind of important is a lot of folks like to have a more kind of gradual assistance levels. Think of it like having more gears on your bike. Whereas some folks prefer the smaller, larger increments of assistance where you can really kind of get snappy and it gives the bike overall just a faster feel with the less levels of assistance. Other than that, the electronics, they're capable of both Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 capabilities. You can configure it in the computing mechanism given to the bike, so you don't have to come to a store, you don't need to plug it into a computer. Everything is configurable directly on the computer itself. Just a really awesome option for the consumers. They don't have to deal with any sort of haggle that way. They can configure the bike to however they prefer with no haggle. And then the controlling mechanism here, you have kind of your standard stuff, your power button, of course, and then your plus and minus. Almost every e-bike will have at least those 3 buttons. The plus and minus are used to increase or decrease your level of pedal assistance. And they also have a secondary function. In this case, you can press and hold the plus button to turn on and off the lights in both the front and the rear. And then you can also hold the minus button down, and what that does is put the bike into a walk mode. The walk mode is incredibly useful if you get a flat tire, which is probably the most common bicycle issue to ever to have ever existed. You can hold this minus button and the bike will sort of walk itself. And the reason why that's nice is, let's say you're 2 miles away from your house, there's a hill right before you get to your place. It's nice to just be able to hold that minus button down, and then the bike will sort of walk itself. So you're not carrying a 50, 60 pound bike up a steep hill. That's no fun. So they really kind of thought it through and made that an awesome option. Thanks for watching the Igo Discovery Rosemont LE1 review. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Also check out our social links listed in the description. Thank you so much. Bye.